everybody. Recently I shared a post about my son Silas, about the adoption process, about his birth process, and about the months and the health challenges right after his birth. And you know what? Mixed in with all the comments and the support and the likes, the shares and the love, I got a lot of personal questions from parents on my inbox about how exactly are you helping parents through a pregnancy? How on earth can you help a newborn baby with these types of challenges? And you know what, as parents, we get a lot of opinions from our parents, from our relatives, from our friends, from social media, and we get a lot of opinions from healthcare providers. But the fact is you need some facts. And I'm not here to espouse a lot of opinions here, but the fact is the birth process can be tough. Not just for the mom, but also for the baby. And the medical literature tells us that the average C-section, now again, C-sections save lives. In many cases, sadly, a C-section is necessary. But even more tragically, in so many cases, a C-section is not necessary. But the fact is, the medical literature tells us that those C-sections put upwards of 60 to 80 pounds of pulling on a baby's very delicate, forming nerve system and brainstem. The fact is we live our life through our nervous system. Every aspect of your existence is filtered through that nervous system. So not just your neck muscles, not just your back muscles, but your energy, your emotions, your immune system, your digestion, everything is filtered and controlled by that nervous system. And a physical assault or stress like that is going to have an impact on the nervous system. That's not really debatable. It's pretty much common sense. So what do we do with that neurological impact? What happens when you didn't get the pregnancy that you had planned for? What happens when you had a birth plan that nobody else followed? What happens when you have a child that's showing signs with neurological disconnect? Because my child had that. Forget that I'm a doctor and I help kids with these challenges. I was a dad in that moment first. And what I saw was a son whose head was stuck to the side. And in the medical world, we call that torticollis. From a dad world, that's a problem. I don't want my baby's head stuck to the side, not just for aesthetic reasons, I can't feel good. Also, my child's head was misshapen. Not my patient, but my child. And when I looked at his head, I could see that that was not in the right place. The back side of his head was flattened. In the medical world, that's called plagiocephaly, but in the dad world, that's called a problem. And then I also started to notice that one of his eyes wasn't tracking the same as the other. There's a neurological reason for that. And I've helped countless kids with ADHD and autism and sensory challenges and anxiety. And all of these are markers, precursors to something neurologically devastating down the road. Now, I'm not implying or saying that my child would have had autism or ADHD. That's not the case. I don't know. But he had those neurological disconnect signs. What we do know, another fact that you need to know, is that autism, ADHD, sensory processing disorders are all nervous system and brains that are stuck in the fight or flight response. We've all had fight or flight moments as parents, but could you imagine being born into that neurologically disconnected world where you don't have context, you don't have a good day, you're constantly in that neurological overwhelm where your brain cannot adapt or heal or develop or grow at the pace that it should be. There are telltale signs that I as a doctor know and have studied and have tried to figure out and unwind, but these are things that I saw in my own child, and in that moment it became incredibly real. It's always real when I'm helping other people's child. When we see these challenges in your own child, it becomes even more deeper connected. So what we did is we gently, specifically worked to remove these irritations. Now when it comes to your child, I'm never going to guess if they have these irritations. In my own child, I would never guess that they have these irritations just based on symptoms. We have a state-of-the-art technology that actually measures these types of irritations through very gentle scans. There's nothing invasive about them. There's no blood draws, there's no x-rays, but we can measure the temperature all along the nerve root level. One of the primary functions of the nervous system is keep us at a certain temperature, but with stressors, with irritations, with inflammation, we can find out where those stressors are. There's a couple of other scans we do, again, perfectly non-invasive, so that we don't have to guess that this is what your child is going through. And through very gentle, specific process of adjustments, we started to unwind these irritations. And I'm happy to say, just like I did in that post, that my child is perfectly healthy. His head is no longer tilted, it's actually upright. His head is no longer misshapen, it's actually more round. And that eye tracking issue is gone. It did not happen overnight. It was a process, but it was a process that we closely monitored and measured. And it's an opportunity that you have for your kid. If you're thinking, gosh, I didn't have the pregnancy that I planned for, I definitely didn't have the birth that I planned for, and my child is not as healthy and connected as I thought, ask questions. It is high time that we give parents the right and the privilege to just ask questions to their providers. You are in the driver's seat. Nobody cares more about your child's health than you, and you have to ask these questions to make sure that your child is connected, so that your child is healthy, so that your child reaches their full potential. Ask those questions today. Ask them below in the comment section. Reach out to me privately. I will answer any of these calls because it's not just my job, it's my mission in life that kids don't have to go through these challenges for longer than they have to. Again, we are here to work hand in hand with parents and other providers to provide the best possible care and solutions so that you live the best life possible. Click on the link below and I look forward to connecting with you soon.